had left Daisy desperate to salvage what she could of their summer plans. Which was why she'd reluctantly accepted Peyton's offer, rearranged her work schedule, not an easy feat, and packed everyone up early this morning and set out for Tahoe. She could only hope that the closest grocery store would be in walking distance, since, as far as Daisy knew, the house hadn't been occupied in months, and their limited supply of Twinkies, Doritos, and Go-Gurts were sure to run out by morning. The truck slowed even further as it reached a driveway before coming to a stop. Despite the darkness outside, she could make out the hulking but elegant shape of what she assumed was the Vaughn summer house.
Call the shop in the morning. They should be able to give you some idea of what you're looking at for repairs, Skippy said, a toothpick clenched in his teeth. But keep in mind, next week is the 4th of July, and the shop's working with a skeleton crew, so it might not be ready for a day or two.
So long as it would actually be ready in a day or two, she supposed things could be worse. She nodded and thanked the driver as everyone piled out. "Okay, kids," she said with enthusiasm she didn't feel. The sky was dark, and the rain seemed to be coming down even harder, but it couldn't be helped. "Make a run to the front door, and I'll be there in a minute." With shouts of excitement, the 3 kids zoomed across the lawn and up to the house that, right now, Daisy couldn't begin to appreciate. One step at a time. Instead, Daisy started unloading the suitcases from the back while the tow guy stayed dry and warm in his seat. But she wasn't going to complain, since it was favor enough that he'd gotten them this far. 3 trips later, the roar of the tow truck heading back down the driveway ringing in her ears, she searched her phone for the security code Peyton had given her. The kids were bouncing up and down, eager to see their new digs for the next week. So much for getting them into bed and asleep in the next hour so she could have some time to decompress. She closed her eyes. Dios mío, dame fuerza. Asking God for strength had become a regular thing in her life these past couple of years. Heaven help her when she exhausted those prayers.
"Come on, Mom. I have to go to the bathroom,"
Natalie said, bouncing side to side. Exhaling, Daisy opened her eyes again. "I'm hurrying. And make sure that everyone takes their shoes off when we get inside. I don't want to track in mud and water." She entered the last numbers for the 12-digit code and waited, holding her breath that she'd done it right, and a swarm of security guys wouldn't descend. She turned the key in the lock and tried the door, pushing it open. The security beep Peyton told her to expect went off, and she nearly wept in relief as the kids barged in, their excited shouts telling her that their enthusiasm at this last-minute vacation to Lake Tahoe hadn't waned despite the detour. She flicked on the lights and took a moment to slip off her own shoes before following everyone down the hall, passing a couple of smaller rooms on each side. She stopped at the threshold of a room that appeared to be the center of the house.
"Can we sleep anywhere we want?"
Jenna asked, wonderment in her voice as she looked around. "Let's try and keep our rooms close together. Aunt Peyton said there are 5 bedrooms upstairs. I'd like to use no more than 3. Total." Especially since she'd insisted that Peyton not worry about providing housekeeping, and Daisy wanted to keep her own cleaning to a minimum when they left. The kids trampled up the stairs, leaving Daisy and her aunt to stare dazedly at the room surrounding them. "I feel like I've stepped into one of those magazines. You know, the ones that usually feature homes out on Martha's Vineyard," Glenda said. The room's white cathedral ceilings soared above them, and the thick, colorful rugs that covered the beautiful hardwood floors squished beneath Daisy's bare feet. The chic but comfy-looking couches, rugs, and chairs were organized to break up the large room into sections, making the space feel cozier. Even the air, aside from the pungent scent of the rain outside, seemed to be of elevated quality, evoking hints of evergreens, sand, and water. She'd never stayed anywhere so